But first, McConnell's Senate resolution that lays out the rules for impeachment is going to be introduced formally on Tuesday. Now, a couple of different sources in the Senate are telling us that Chuck Schumer has not yet seen the rules, the specifics. And again, they can always be amended. But the rules are in their final stages in the form of this overall resolution. Now, they will be debated next week at some point and will include things like how long each side has to advance its case, how long to offer a rebuttal, and more. Well, another report emerging today that indicates that 3 GOP senators, Romney, Murkowski, and Collins, want or maybe even demand a vote on whether witnesses will be called. But McConnell has also promised to model the trial rules after the Clinton impeachment rules. Seems really smart thing for him to do. But now we're learning his resolution, as of tonight, will not include a provision for a motion to dismiss, which was part of the Clinton impeachment resolution. Bob Byrd, at the time, pushed for that. Now, if this is true, it's a huge mistake. A motion to dismiss could be voted on, well, of course, before any opening arguments are made. The White House counsel can just move. That would probably fail. Or it could be made after opening arguments, but before any vote on whether any witnesses should appear, any other matter. As we've documented, we've done this extensively this week. These articles, to anyone who is fair and not just a rank Trump-hating partisan, they're not just deficient on their face. I actually think they're fraudulent. Right up to yesterday when Nancy Pelosi purposely, again, pulled a shift and misquoted the transcript. So advancing these fraudulent articles to a full-blown trial in the Senate, in my view, it just rewards the House's own lawlessness on this and rank bias. Republicans need to do what they did during the Kavanaugh hearing. Stay united, end this travesty now. Now, here's why. The election is just a blink away. Democrats are clearly afraid that if they don't remove Trump, they hope they throw something against the wall and it'll stick in the next couple of weeks. He's going to trounce them again. You think that debate the other night? This is just, I actually started to feel sorry for Joe Biden up there. This resolution should be tweaked, amended, whatever you call it. Follow the Clinton impeachment model. Romney, Murkowski, Collins, Lamar Alexander. Do they really want to go home to their home state and say, oh, yeah, we want the president to have to endure more witnesses that weren't even discussed or talked to at all in the House? They really want to go back to Utah and make that argument, or Tennessee to make that argument? That's how Mitch McConnell should put it to them. A shorter trial with a motion to dismiss right at the top, or after the first initial arguments are put on by the House impeachment managers and White House counsel Pat Cipollone. Here now is Senator Martha McSally, Republican from Arizona, who will be a juror, of course. She was sworn in today in the impeachment trial. And, Senator, before we get your thoughts on what I just said the Senate should do, even understanding there are a few stragglers, I want to ask you about this.
Senator McSally, should the Senate consider new evidence as part of the impeachment trial?
Man, you're a liberal hack. I'm not talking to you.
You're not going to comment?
Okay, so you heard that. You're a liberal hack. Well, based on the media reaction, you'd have thought Manju Raju got assaulted by McSally.
McSally just calls Manu Raju, respected widely on Capitol Hill by Democrats and Republicans, calls him a nasty name.
Prize-winning, excellent journalist.
There's nobody who looks at him with a real objective lens and sees anything but objectivity.
This is not a biased reporter.
Senator, do you regret what you said?
No, Laura, I do not. And I said it again, actually, as I went in. I said, you're a liberal hack, buddy. As you know, I mean, these CNN reporters, but many of them around the Capitol, they are so biased. They are so in cahoots with the Democrats. They so can't stand the president. And they run around trying to chase, Republicans and ask trapping questions. I'm a fighter pilot. I called it like it is. And that's what we see out of the mainstream media, and especially CNN, every single day. So obviously, I'm gonna tell the truth, and I did it today, and it's laughable how they've responded.
Well, they were saying you've gone full Trump.
Well, they've also said that it was unbecoming a senator, and I lashed out and all sorts.
What do they? I have a question. What do they do on a daily basis?
Right.
What they call Trump a Russian asset, they call all of you hacks on a daily basis. I mean, every line, and they always say, "Well, sources tell us," or we, what we understand, or people are saying.
Right.
Meanwhile, it's just the people at the CNN, reporters or producers meeting.
Exactly. And then the Democrat senators walk by and they say, "Hi, how are you today?" And then they chase after the Republicans.
Yeah.
It's honestly ridiculous. As you know, they're cheerleading the Democrats. They hate the president.
Well, they're saying it's because you're in a tight race and they think you're going to lose in November. You're going to lose to the astronaut. And,
I speak the truth. I'm going to continue to do it. I've done it my whole life.
Wolf Blitzer commented. He interviewed the victim here, Manu Raju. Like you're strong, but I think he could take you probably. But they were demanding something.
Wait, you saying he could? Okay. Well, I don't want to go.
They're demanding something from you. Watch.
I take it she or her staff, no one has reached out to apologize to you, have they?
I have not heard from them at all, Wolf.
Well, if they did the right thing, she would personally call you and say, "I'm sorry, it was an awful, awful thing that she did."
I think they should apologize to James Earl Jones. He should get his voiceover back for This Is CNN.
Well, they have a lot of apologizing to do, and they should probably be filing FEC reports with the DNC, right? In-kind contributions. So
I want to ask about the angle.
Yeah.
My concern about this opening the Pandora's box of 11th hour witnesses, text messages from a guy who obviously is trying to get his sentence reduced, scribble scrabble on a Vienna notepad from the Ritz-Carlton. And then the Republican moderates want to have a vote on witnesses. Why do the Republicans always do this nonsense? The Democrats always stay together.
Well, Laura, we're trying to stay together, and that's the intent of the vote that we're going to take on Monday. And 100 senators under President Clinton, voted for the process to start going. The vast majority is going to be just like Clinton, but Chuck Schumer and others obviously are not wanting to be with us. So we're trying to unite as a GOP. But as you know, everything Schumer's doing right now, it's not about President Trump. It's not about the Constitution. It's not about a fair trial.
So why do you need witnesses?
He just wants power.
What about Manu Raju's question? Do you want witnesses?
I want a fair trial.
Okay, you're not going to answer. I'm going to play the game with you.
No.
You can call me a conservative hack, but do you want witnesses, yes or no? Why aren't you telling us?
Because we're going to vote on Tuesday to start the trial and let them present the
But how are you going to vote on the motion for witnesses?
We're going to get to that. I mean, I'm not going to tell everybody what all my votes are going to be, but obviously my point...
Pretty easy question, don't you think, Senator?
I think we're going to procead forward at that point, and I really...
But you're not going to vote with Romney and the others, are you? You're going to vote...
I think we'll proceed to a final vote, I hope, with strong unity after Phase 1 is complete.
Okay, well, to go for a Lev Parnas as their silver bullet in this case. That's like smacks of Michael Avenatti. We're going to get back to that. It's like Michael Cohen, Michael Avenatti, Lev Parnas. They should start a rock group
Well, the other thing is they open it up. There has to be parity. If we go down that path, then whoever they're asking for, then President Trump's lawyers and the defense get to also.
So I'll see you a John Bolton, and I'll raise you a Hunter Biden.
It's fairness, right? It's parity.
All right, Senator, thank you for missing your plane tonight and going tomorrow. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.